today's job, or over the next few days, is fitting these things to the points. I have about 22 points on the top surface and 12 to 14, maybe 16 points below, so quite a few to get through. I bought myself 24 of these and I need probably another, as I say, another 12 or so, which I'll probably fiddle around with some servos and do myself. But for those of you who have not seen this stuff before, they're relatively well packed. If you budget around £20 a motor, that's probably about right. You'll get a little bit less if you get some second-hand ones. Oops, they're falling out. And yeah, all sorts of stuff. These are ones over here I prepared earlier, ready to install. And they have connections on the back for all of the power in, the DCC in, or the two leftmost ones. The third one in is a frog, and then the various other bits on there are for point throws and switches that come on mimic boards and the like. I've already installed the wire on this that goes up through the board, gives it a bit of a spring and throws the point. I'm not going to embarrass myself by filming every point. I had a little trial run recently and it took me about half an hour a point roughly. I guess when you're in the swing of things it'll probably take you about 15 minutes, but there's one in there already and there's one down there on that other one. I promised myself I'd have a go at this complex point behind here first, but I bottled it. I shall do that a little bit later. Well, apologies up front for the camera shake, but there is no way that I can put this down, so I'm going to have to hold it as a program. All prepared, the motors are now ready for install. Let's crack on. Tag on it, which is a adhesive panel that will stick on there, and I've also put the point throw bar on as well. It's good to go, it's straight out of the box otherwise. I've wired it up to my programming track, and my ECOS is in the background where I coded up. Now, just to help program these things up, you need to do them in a sort of set sequence, and if you're anything like me, you really don't want to read the instructions. So what I've done is I've set up three of the codes that all the points respond to. One is called Cobalt Motor Center Off, and that's code 198, and then Cobalt Motor Center On, which is put 199, it puts it back on again, and Cobalt's reverse action. So if you have to put the motor in a different orientation, then you can get it to throw the bar in a different direction for the same signal, which is quite useful, particularly in high dense areas where you really can't put them so close. So rather than actually tag them in, I've just created some signals to produce the codes that it responds to. And the first things first, the instructions say take the centering off and then code it and put the centering back on again. So I'll do that, but it doesn't seem to be much point in taking the centering off to do that really. So what I'll do is there's a little switch on the side there that's currently in run mode if it's pushed against the body. So push it back away from the body, and that goes into learn mode. And then center off, and you press it twice apparently, and then switch it back from run, and then power cycle. Now the power cycle on the ECOS, you just cut the track power and it cuts the programming track as well, I presume, and then put it back on again. Now I also need to give it a code. So in my ECOS, others will do other things, but my ECOS, I'm doing I'm going to add a point. I'm going to put it there. I'm just going to program this point up. It's PT07. It's all wired up, ready to go. I've got a little label on it, a stick, adhesive pad. I've given it its tie bar, its throw bar, should I say, and I've wired up the red and the black wires to the programming track, so it's ready to go. I've not put the frog on it yet, frog wire on it yet. I will do that later. So first things first, I've created myself, because it's going into a double slip. Be crazy mad, I understand how I get the second of the points on that, but anyway. Double slip, it's PT07. I've given it an address of 107. 1 denotes the layer in my layout, but you will dream up your own point system for it. Otherwise it's a fairly generic. It says duration of 250 milliseconds. I don't think it matters with these motors. I think they're quite flexible. It doesn't draw any power, it just senses. And what else is there? I just pressed OK with that. That's programmed, so if I now put it in learn mode and I just hit that button, wrong button, take off edit, now it's ready to go. I click that twice, make sure it's changing. There we are. Okay. I think I hit the other one actually. There we go. So now I'm going to put that off programming, and then I'm going to cycle it, power cycle. So that resets it, and when it boots up, I think it should have centering off and be responding to 07107. Let's put it back on now. This is now powering up, and it's still centered, but it's not doing anything, which is as I expect. Let's just put the camera on there, over here, so you can see it, and I'm just going to hit go on this and see what happens. There we go, and again. There we go. So it's ready, it's done. So I shall put the power cycle light off again. Now if I've taken centering off, when I boot this back up again, because it's actually thrown at the moment, it shouldn't center. It should stay that way. But if I've not taken centering off, then it will, after a second or two, it will go through its startup process and then throw itself back to the center. So I'm going to power it up now. Wait 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Nothing. Good. Okay, now I have to actually put the centering back on. Let's just check that this is the same point. So I'm going to just change its direction again. Good. So it is responding. Now I'm going to put the centering on. So I need to put the programming switch back again. So I'm programming it this time. There we are. And I'm going to hit Cobalt motor center on twice. I guess twice just to make sure the code gets through. Then I'll switch it back to off programming mode and into listen mode, and power cycle again. Leave it a few seconds, come back on, and when this powers up now, you should see this. There we go, I've not touched it. Let's just do that for you. There you are. It's now centered and it's ready for putting onto the track. So I'll just fit this point then. Right. As accurate as possible and straight down. That's what it says. There we go. That's not raised, that's okay. Good. And then I get my... Now that's what I was looking for. I bought one of DCC's point laying templates. It comes with the 11mm cutting blade, which is nice, and one of these, which I think is probably the most useful thing they've got. you drop that into the hole, having first lined up where you want the hole. You put that in parallel with the track and where it's going, and then I just draw around it. And wherever the nicks are in the template is where you drop the lines down there. Now you drop the holes down there for the pilot holes for the motor, and it works really well. So there we go, they're lined up, and I just draw around it, just so I know. There we go. Right. And then there's a way of just starting the pilot holes off right. And I've been using a tapered drill bit, which is rather better than the normal ones. There's less scarring on the surface here. Right, there we go. Right, go underneath the board now. Now, I'll fit the point later. I've just put some copy decks down and I forgot that the blades that slip along here are fractionally above ground level, the cork mat. But now I've got 2 layers of rubber. I'm not going to notice it on the normal flat. And the scores are in there, so it slots straight in there, having been lifted. I've got the marks of the old track bed there. But I do need to remove that there. Otherwise, I'm going to have problems with my point moving because it's a bit thicker than it needs to be. So, there we go. That I think will be fine. I'll pull some of that out. And then I'll lay the point again. Got to be a little bit careful of the wires this time around because they don't really like being pushed around a lot. And I have done a lot of pushing around. And let's just see if I can fit these in. I've taken to super gluing one end of the isolating fish plates because they kept on popping off. They're a real pain. Fortunately for me, I've chosen the right end to super glue, i.e. not the point, so that it comes straight out. Again, easy enough. There we go. I think that's where I want the point. Just to make sure that's all.